And good evening, everyone. Let me call this chamber to order. Everyone, please rise if you can as we pledge our nation's flag. Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Township Clerk, please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall,
Here.
Councilman Wendell,
Here.
Councilwoman Winston,
Here.
Councilwoman Zembicki,
Here.
and Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen,
Here.
Administrator Joseph Criscullo,
Here.
and Township Attorney Anthony Iacocca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, we have Resolution 25-137, adopting our meeting minutes from our March 10th, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Is there a need for clarification or correction on these minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zembicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Council, we have two proclamations, one resolution of recognition and one proclamation from Trenton. First up will be Council Vice President Dana Zembicki to proclaim the month of March as Development Disabilities Awareness Month. Council Vice President, will you attend to this matter?
May I do it?
At your
for you
leisure,
guys?
yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Whereas individuals with developmental disabilities come from diverse racial, ethnic, educational, social, religious, and economic backgrounds and are valued members of our community, and whereas recent estimates in the United States show that 1 in 6 children aged 3 through 17 have a developmental disability, and about 15% of public school students receive special education services. And whereas individuals with developmental disabilities contribute significantly to our schools, families, faith communities, and the workplace. Whereas recognizing the abilities and contributions of people with developmental disabilities enriches our community and signifies our commitment to equal opportunity access and rights for individuals with disabilities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, along with the Township Council, hereby proclaim March 2025 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and we encourage all individuals to support the goals of this observance. Thank you.
Next up, we have Councilman Dinesh Behal to proclaim the month of April as Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month. Councilman Behal, will you attend to this matter, please?
Thank you, Council President. Before reading this proclamation, I would like to extend my warmest wishes for happy Sikh New Year to all those who celebrate. East Brunswick is known for its vibrant diversity and for its commitment to recognizing and celebrating various faiths is a testament to its inclusive spirit. I'm honored to read this proclamation today, as I'm a follower of both Sanatan and Sikh religions, so this proclamation is very special to me. I'm so grateful to Council President for giving me this chance to read it tonight. Whereas the Sikh community has a rich, diverse history spanning over 500 years with a strong tradition of service and dedication to community. And whereas Sikhism is the 5th largest religion globally, there are more than 30 million Sikhs worldwide and more than 500,000 Sikhs in United States, with a strong presence in New Jersey, where Sikh Americans have made significant contribution to various fields, and whereas Sikhism is an Indian religion that originated in the Punjab region of the Indian subcontinent around the end of 15th century by Shri Guru Nanak. Sikh means a student, a learner in Punjabi, and whereas the year 2025 marks the 556th birth anniversary of Shri Guru Nanak Dev, founder of Sikhism, and will be celebrated on November 5th worldwide as Guru Nanak's Gurpurab, and is one of the most important dates in the Sikh calendar. And whereas Vaisakhi and Khalsa Sajna Divas is one of the most historically significant days of the year for Sikhs and is celebrated on April 14th of every year. And whereas Sikhs are known for their values of equality, compassion, and service to humanity, as exemplified by their commitment to seva, selfless service, and their dedication to social justice. And whereas East Brunswick is committed to fostering an inclusive and welcoming environment for all residents, recognizing and celebrating the diverse cultures and traditions that make our community vibrant. The township seeks to further the diversity of its community and afford all residents the opportunity to better understand, recognize, and appreciate the rich history and shared experience of Sikh Americans. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, along with Township Council, recognize April 2025 as Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month. Given under his hand and great seal of the Township of East Brunswick, this 24th day of March in the year 2025. Thank you. So who's going to come take the proclamation? We have to want to say a few words?
Yes, I was hoping to say it after,
Yeah, we can wait for that also.
or should we do it? I don't know.
I can give you this first.
Yes, thank you. Let's just do for a little.
You're not next. Do you want to get everyone together for, we can do this again when the assemblyman comes up too. Council, please join me.
Okay.
Mayor. We'll do this with as many people as you want, please. Your children, your family, and then we'll do it again with the assembly.
We kind of balance it out, 'cause maybe 3 years can go on, that's fine. Thank you.
Good job.
Try not to change.
How about before you leave, before we leave, can we get the assemblyman? Sterling, can you come up for, join the photo here? Get there front and center. Thanks, Joe.
1 minute. $100. Check it out. Look on it. Okay. What? I have no idea. Do the police? Okay. Oh. You're good.
I take my time. You're more than welcome. No rush. You know. No, just have a quick second. I'll make it 37 seconds. Make it 37 minutes. Council, we have a resolution 25-138 honoring and accepting the retirement.
We're doing proclamation from Stone?
No, I'm doing the, no, I've got my order.
Oh, okay.
I see you're paying attention. That's okay. We'll try it again.
Okay, sorry.
Council, we have resolution 25-138 honoring and accepting the retirement of East Brunswick Police Department Lieutenant Ray Gordon. May I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
Lieutenant Gordon is not here, but our chief, will you please join me?
Thank you. Try and get hold of that.
See what happens when you clap? Resolution 25-138, resolution honoring and accepting the retirement of Lieutenant Wade Gordon. Whereas Lieutenant Wade Gordon submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that he will retire from the East Brunswick Police Department effective April 1st, 2025. And whereas on March 13th, 2000, Lieutenant Gordon began his career with the Township as a patrol officer. He was later promoted to sergeant on August 1st, 2013, and then promoted to lieutenant on August 1, 2019, a position from which he retires effective, again, April 1, 2025. And whereas throughout the 25 years of service to the Township, he demonstrated exemplary characteristics to the Township of East Brunswick through his work ethics, dedication, leadership, team spirit, and enthusiasm for duty. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that Lieutenant Gordon's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of April 1, 2025. Be it further resolved by the Mayor and the Council of the Township of East Brunswick that they hereby extend their sincere and grateful appreciation to Lieutenant Gordon for his 25 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick, congratulating him on his well-earned retirement and wish him much happiness and good health in the years to come, signed by everyone behind me.
I don't like having my back to you, but I apologize. So I just want to accept this on behalf of Lieutenant Gordon, who could not be here. Sometimes with small kids, you get divided in many ways, and he had to make a split decision, and he went with his family. The police family is sorry to see him go. I could attest to exactly the words on here. It is amazing what he did, committed to this town. It exemplifies what the men and women who serve the town do. But Wade is going to be surely missed at the police department, and we welcome and wish him a happy, very healthy, and very long retirement.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. We'll now hear from our 18th Legislative District Representative Sterling Stanley. Our Assemblyman is responsible for approving significant funding for East Brunswick. Last year, and so far in 2025, his message has been exemplary. $500,000 for Crystal Springs improvements, $38 million towards the school budget, $368,000 for road improvements, the road surfacing on the Village Drive. All these combined demonstrate his commitment to keeping our infrastructure safe. Assemblyman Stanley, we are honored to have you here this evening to help proclaim the month of April as Sikh Awareness Month. The floor is now yours.
Thank you, Council President. Can we turn this around?
Whatever you would like, sir.
Would anyone like to come up here and join me? Council President, thank you. Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I miss sitting up there with you guys sometimes. I'm going to read this proclamation into record, but before saying that, the one thing I want to really tell from the bottom of my heart is that, you know, in the Indian Army, the majority of the Army is made up of the Sikh population. And that tells you what commitment they have, how strong they are, and how they are committed to protecting not just the nation, but the whole community itself. The Sikh community does not make up even, I think, 10% of the population of India, but more than 50% of the Indian Army is made up of the Sikh community, men and women. So that's something I want to just put out there, and that's something I really appreciate. So with that, I want to read this joint legislative resolution by Senator Diagnan, Assemblyman Karabenchek, and myself. I just want to read this into the record. Whereas the month of April is marked and celebrated as Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month within the Garden State and throughout this nation. And whereas the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey are pleased to honor the Sikh community upon this auspicious occasion, which is a fitting time to recall the immeasurable contributions Sikhs have made in furtherance of more than just an equitable society replete with opportunity for all. And whereas a holistic understanding of peace, supported by praiseworthy ideals of equality and fraternity, are the hallmarks of the Sikh tradition, a movement that traces origins back to the state of Punjab in India, and its followers strive to conquer hatred and division by following the sacred teachings of Guru Nanak and his tenets of honest work, charity, and reverence. And whereas Sikhs have played a vital role in the growth and vitality of our nation, in the prosperity and success of the Garden State, which has been forever enriched by the diversity of its citizenry and the climate of social tolerance that has sustained us throughout history. And whereas it is altogether fitting and right for the members of this legislature to pause in the deliberations to acknowledge Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month and affirm its importance to the state Sikhs residents, whose remarkable accomplishments within all fields of endeavor have brought us all closer to a more perfect union. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby joins in commemorating Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month and encourages all New Jerseyans to participate fittingly in its observance, and be it further resolved that a duly authenticated copy of this resolution be signed by the State President and the Assembly Speaker and attested by the State Senate Secretary and the Assembly Clerk. Thank you. There you go.
Good evening, Assemblyman Sterling Stanley, Mayor Cohen. You can come. Bring the Golden Temple. Golden Temple project. Good evening, Assemblyman Sterling Stanley, Mayor Cohen, esteemed members of the East Brunswick Town Council, respected community leaders, and fellow residents. On behalf of the Sikh community of East Brunswick, I stand before you today with immense gratitude. We're deeply touched and sincerely thank you to approve the proclamation recognizing April as Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month in our town. This proclamation is more than just a symbolic gesture. It signifies a profound understanding and respect of our community, for our community, our faith, and our contributions to the vibrant tapestry of East Brunswick. It acknowledges the values we hold dear: service, equality, and compassion, and recognizes our commitment to build a stronger, more inclusive community for all. Your support in raising awareness about Sikhism will undoubtedly foster greater understanding and appreciation among our fellow residents. It will help us dispel misconceptions and promote harmony, creating a more welcoming environment for everyone. I'd like to express my gratitude towards the East Brunswick Public Library for helping us in showcasing the Sikh history, culture, and celebrating Vaisakhi this year. We're truly honored to be a part of our town that embraces diversity and celebrates the richness of its cultural fabric. We pledge to continue working alongside you, contributing our efforts to make East Brunswick a place where everyone feels valued and respected. Thank you once again for your open hearts, your thoughtful consideration, and your commitment to building a united and harmonious community. We are deeply grateful for your support. Thank you.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Dear Mayor, Town Council members, and neighbors, my name is Kerman Singh Gill. I am here today to talk about my community and how my Sikh faith teaches me to be a good citizen. My religion, Sikhism, is all about helping others and making the world a better place. We learn about this from our gurus, who taught us important things like everyone is equal. We believe that everyone deserves respect, no matter where they came from or what they believe in. That this means being kind to everyone in East Brunswick, working hard and earning honestly. We're taught to do our best in school and in our jobs, and to always be honest wherever we go. We also are taught to share what we have. We believe in helping people who need it, like volunteering or donating to local charities. Thinking about everyone's well-being, we want East Brunswick to be a good place for everyone, not just for some people, and that goes for the whole world as well. Here's what I, as a young Sikh, want to promise to my town. I want to do my part to keep East Brunswick a friendly and safe place. I want to help out with community events and volunteer when I can. I want to learn more about my town and how I can help make it better. I would love to help out in any youth programs that are available. I want to help make sure that everyone feels welcome in our town. I know that even though I'm young, I can still make a difference. I hope that by sharing my Sikh values, I can help make our community even stronger. Thank you for listening. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
As always, every year, we do have the postcards that we would like to distribute to everybody, so the kids will be distributing them. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, once again. Finally, this evening, we have a special presentation regarding the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall that was spearheaded, organized, and presented by the East Brunswick VFW Post 133 under the leadership of Mr. Tommy Coolhill and Mr. Wayne Lyons. Amongst many others, who spent countless hours getting ready for the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall. Mr. Coolhill, the floor is yours.
Mayor, Town Council, Kevin. I'm here today to present a plaque to our mayor on behalf of East Brunswick VFW Post 133. And thank you all for the great job you did supporting us with the wall. It was a big event. Took a long time, and I thank Kevin and Rob Zuckerman here tonight for all the help they gave us. I'm also here to thank the police department, Parks and Recreation, John Kosick from the town, and more other people that will meet. But right now, I would like to present this award to the mayor.
You want to get a photo now, Tommy? Yeah. How about we get the council?
Yes.
It's gonna look real nice, Mayor. In the bear cone. It's gonna look real nice in the foyer. Okay. You good?
Now you gotta figure out where we're gonna hang it. What's a good spot?
We'd also like to thank
It's beautiful.
the county for all they did with us in here and supporting us throughout the time, and we appreciate that. And we also have a couple other people I'd like to thank. Our auxiliary in our post, 133, Brunswick Memorial Home, Rolling Thunder, which escorted the wall in from Delaware all the way up to the hotel for us. East Brunswick Remodeling and Stop and Shop for their help throughout the whole time. And I know there's people I'm going to forget here. Kevin, thank you for all the time you put in with us, putting up with us, staying late at night.
It was, well, I was waiting for you to pause. Let's not forget Wayne Lyons and Tommy Coolhill. Okay, if we don't have the two of you, as well as I saw you walked in with this young lady over to your left.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the Rob Zuckermans of the world, or the role that I played to help out, it was just such a and it all came together so well that we didn't have any snags, we didn't have any storms, we didn't, the weather was perfect. The amount of people who came, the amount of people who spoke, the compassion that was involved was again a credit to you guys. And just when I was talking with my wife just when I thought that, oh boy, the Vietnam Wall, the traveling wall, I guess that's no more stories. What happens? We get this plaque that's going to be a showcase.
Thank you.
Right in front of the mayor's office.
Thank you. And Rob Zuckerman, who wife was having a baby any minute, stayed with us all night long.
Right.
And we're trying to tell him to go home, but he stayed with us, and we thank him so much for all.
Rob, would
for
you
all the
stand
work
up,
he
please,
did.
for a second so everybody can see who we're talking about?
Thank,
Once again, we could have never done it without the town and the support that we did get from the town and the people. It was great.
thank you.
Thanks, Tommy.
God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Council, we have ordinance 25-10 for a second reading and public hearing. Township Clerk, can you read this ordinance, please?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 3, Article 18, fees for services and copies of documents to update the fee schedule for police services.
May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to adopt.
And a second.
Second.
I will now open this to the public. Anyone wish to speak on this issue and this issue only? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. And let me just take a quick interruption. If you would like to take off, I know the younger kids probably have some homework that they need to complete. And again, we appreciate you coming out this evening. We'll now move on to our reports section of the meeting. Mayor Khan?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to shed a light on one of the resolutions that's on the table for this evening before we get there, and that is the designation of an area in need of redevelopment for the Brunswick Square Mall. I know that's in front of you for review this evening. That is a project that's part of a much longer redevelopment vision that the township has had for the entire Route 18 corridor. Clearly, this is one of the biggest projects that we will have undertaken, considering that when you put the mall and Penny's and Macy's together, along with the properties around it, it arguably is the largest taxpayer in the township. And we all recognize that over the course of the last 50 years since the mall was initiated and built, that the nature of malls, the way which people shop, the functionality of the mall as it sits right now has suffered the test of time. And it's time for us to start looking at how that can be reinvigorated to be much more productive and useful. And the mall itself is requesting that we consider doing it on top of the fact that the township had eyes on looking at that piece of property for a while now. Part of the original vision, which dates back even before I was mayor, was reinvigorating, revitalizing the entire Route 18 corridor, which, as many people know, fell into disrepair and in many places blighted areas as fallout from the Great Recession of 2008 and 9, as a lot of businesses left. And then, of course, that got that process continued as the world moved to an online shopping format, and even worse after COVID. So it clearly needed to be addressed. You see now the work that's being done on the north end of the highway, which has taken us a bunch of years to get there. Land use takes a lot of time. And so the Vermella project, which is going up as we speak, in phases, is started. The Legacy project on Tice's Lane is well past the halfway point in terms of that project. And then most recently, we designated the area that borders Route 18 and Edgeboro Road, many of those properties as area in need of redevelopment, because we clearly recognize that that must be updated if it's going to match the efforts that we're doing across the street at a project like Vermella. The idea of coming now down to the mall bookends the highway with our most important and most valuable real estate to try to have an opportunity through redevelopment designation for the town to have a say in what the ultimate product looks like. If the town were not to have a redevelopment designation on any of these properties, then the owners, as long as they do what is within the zoning rights by statute with the township, can basically do anything they want, and they don't need the town's approval. The only way the town can have a say in what a owner of property does to his or her own property is through the designation as a redevelopment zone. That gives you the right to offer tax incentives for the township to work hand in hand with the developer of the property or the owner of the property to turn it into something that meets the needs and the goals of the township. Without that designation, you have no right to do that unless they come back to you to ask to do something that's outside of our zoning laws. So this is a massive undertaking. It's fundamentally changing the nature of the corridor because it needs to change. As you could see, most of it is moved out towards a recreational and entertainment and services corridor from the retail corridor that it was before. That clearly didn't work. It doesn't work in a 2025 environment. Doesn't mean that we're getting rid of all retail. It just needs to be reworked in a way that works in 2025. And that's really what we're asking you to consider this evening. The first part of this process started when you asked the planning board to take a look and determine whether or not the area met any of the prescribed valid reasons to be declared an area in need of redevelopment. You can't just declare anything an area in need of redevelopment. It must meet specific statutory requirements to do that. And the conclusion of our planners was that it did. That process then was approved by the planning board, and now it's in front of you for final consideration. When and if you approve that, it then gets turned over to the redevelopment agency to work with any potential redeveloper so that they could sit down together representing the town and the owner or developer of the property and determine what then would make the most sense for the township. And at the end of that process, we may or may not come to a conclusion that well, we hope to come to a conclusion that's satisfactory to the township, at which point any tax incentive, any plan that is approved comes to your table for final vote. So we're still in the beginning process of getting this started, but the first part is for you to approve the results and the determination of the planning board so that they can now sit down with the agency and the owner of the property to find a developer that meets the needs on this property of what the township would be interested in having on that site. And so if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those either now or as we get to that. But I wanted it clear for you and the public, the process that we've undergone to get to this point.
I'm just going to interject for a second because those of you who have your agenda in front of you, we are in the reports section. There is still to come a section on a resolution regarding exactly what the mayor's talking about. So I'm going to stay on my schedule, and then when we come to Resolution 25-139, I'll turn the microphone back over to the mayor, and we can entertain questions from council if need be. Having said that, our business administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
No report this week.
Our township attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
Nothing to report at this time.
Our township clerk, Ms. Lawful.
Just quickly, as a friendly reminder to all of our residents with pets, cats and dogs, March 31st is the expiration of your animal license. I encourage you to renew your animal's license as soon as possible to avoid any penalties. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the clerk's office. The contact number is 732-390-6850. Once again, 732-390-6850. Thank you.
Council members. Council Vice President.
Thank you. So I have a report for the Recreation Parks Advisory Board. First of all, always looking to be environmentally responsible, and Ronnie Lee let us know that 82,050 tennis balls were turned over to recycle balls so that it will not go into the landfill. So we are doing an amazing job with that. Also, on March 30th, there is going to be a rugby match at 10 a.m. at Heavenly Farms, and it's for high school boys. Please look at the Township rec website for more information or Facebook page. On April 27th, from 10 to 11 at the Community Arts Center, will be the 2025 Keller Run. It's $7, and it's sponsored by Youth Council. And when you're done with that, you can just walk right a couple minutes away, a couple seconds away, for the Fly a Kite event that's sponsored, I believe, by the Arts Commission. And also, now until it's sold out, the Egg My Yard event is $12, where you can pay, and all proceeds go to the EB Adaptive Recreation Program. And your yard or somebody's yard that you choose can be egged in a nice way, not in a mean way, on April 19th. And adult and youth tennis classes are now starting, so please see the recreation website for that. And last but not least, this is a great event. There was a grant that was given to the Youth Council, and it's for youth mental health first aid training. And the grant is for 15 individuals in East Brunswick that work with our youth. So maybe with the rec camp, maybe at Crystal Springs, you can be trained and certified in this. And I think that's an amazing, many of our employees are already trained in this, but this is an additional grant to allow for 15 more people to be trained for free. So it's a great opportunity. If you're interested, also see the rec page or the Facebook page for more information. Thank you.
Before I let you go, Council Vice President Zambicki, how about this one? So you mentioned rugby. Okay, so maybe they're thinking about a rugby team at the high school. Maybe. I don't know. But what I'm proposing is, if we're going to do something for the boys, we got to do something for the girls. And what's real popular right now is flag football for high school girls. I know a number of schools, especially in Monmouth County, that are doing flag football, just like you're playing football for the boys. Maybe you can bring that back to your council.
I will
see if they
bring it back.
will adjust some of their thinking.
And I agree.
Good. Township Clerk, will you please read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to address the council president? Please, sir. Go right ahead. Yeah, in the blue shirt. Yes, sir.
Thank you. In light of everything that has taken place tonight.
We'll just need your name and address.
Yes, I
first.
will.
Okay.
Joel Henkin, 14 Delaware Drive, East Brunswick. And let me start by saying that I really believe that East Brunswick has the opportunity to show America that a very diverse community, such as this is, okay, can really exist and flourish in our world today. And I guess I should start by introducing myself. I'm Joel Henkin. I've lived in East Brunswick for over 50 years, okay? I sat up there as a member of the zoning board for 13 years. So I've been around a while. I was president of the East Brunswick Soccer Club when we had 2,400 kids playing in the town, and we were one of the leading soccer operations in the United States, definitely in the Northeast. I was president of the J.C.'s when we established the Reclamation Center, when it was just wooden, all right, where the pool is right now. And of late, I've recently been involved in the beautification committee and the committee that approved the East Brunswick logo. And so why am I here? Okay, so let's get to it. Of all the things that have been going on in this crazy world right now, one thing bothered me more than anything else. And that's when I read and heard about on television the story of the woman who was a teacher in Idaho who had a sign in her classroom that said, "Everybody is welcome here." I don't know if you read that and saw that, all right? She was made to take that sign down, all right? And had been there, sitting there for a long time. The signs said, "Everyone is welcome here." It showed the hands of different colors, people of different colors' hands. And this really, really bothered me. There are so many strange things that we're experiencing right now, financial, whatever, and this bothered me. So what I'm proposing, basically, is that we have a sign for people who come into this town, all right, be it a regular sign that says, "Everybody is welcome here," or maybe even replace or add to the current sign that we have outside and in other places. And let people know that this is what this community is really all about, because I've experienced it here for a long time, all right? And that's really all I wanted to say. I think we have an opportunity to lead America and show who we are, all right? And I think it's very important. Simple as that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll kick it around with my fellow colleagues, and we will discuss it. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Henkin. Anyone else wishing to address Council President? Please, sir.
Jan Bregman for Troy Court. And I would like to discuss 8 million deficit in East Brunswick Town School system. So first question, it's multiple questions, so probably write it down. First question, when this town council became aware about this 8 million deficit? Second question, what specific actions this town council did to resolve these issues? The third question, if you think that this is strictly Board of Education jurisdiction, then I should say 8 million affects entire town. So it's not just school system. I think everyone affected by this. And I formally request that this town council issue by a lawyer or written request to get all expenses that school district has for 2018, 2019, 2023, 2024, so we can compare expenses. And if you think you should not do this, then I think the town of this, our town, should know your actions, basically, that you do not wish to proceed with this action. Okay, so hopefully you can answer my questions.
No, this is not a question and answer session, and you know that because I've seen you at meetings of spanning the past 3, 4, 5 years. We took notes on your statement, and thank you for coming in.
So no answer.
I gave you an answer. This is not a give and take.
Meaning no answer, okay. So.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President?
Council President, I'm here specifically on the next resolution. Should that be discussed now or?
Yeah, this is your opportunity.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Robert Beckelman from the law firm of Valence, Goldman and Spitzer. I'm here to speak.
You're not a resident of East Brunswick?
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir.
And you work for who again?
Valence, Goldman and Spitzer.
Okay.
I appeared at the planning board hearing regarding this matter, Resolution 25-139. as the resolution that you have from the planning board notes. Took some cross-examination of the planner and had questions before the planning board. I'm here on behalf of CT07 Chai LLC. They're the owner of the Habit Burger in the redevelopment area. We objected to the inclusion of this property in that redevelopment area for various reasons, most notably that the town just 2 years ago approved us to build the Habit Burger and develop that and subdivide it from the remainder of this lot. We really think this is a tail wagging the dog situation, and we'd had asked the board to make the recommendation to remove this property from the redevelopment designation. We're here to ask that same question of this council. We believe you have that prerogative to make the determination based on the planning board's recommendations. I won't belabor what we went through at the planning board hearing, but essentially, as the mayor noted, there's specific statutory criteria that are required to deem the property in need of redevelopment to be included in an area. There's no question that none of those properties were established for this property, the Habit Burger Grill, just built 2 years ago, just approved, did not demonstrate any of the conditions, and that's not disputed by the planner. The planner's sole basis for including this property in the redevelopment area was this operating agreement from 1972, which I understand is still in place. It was discussed at the meeting that that operating agreement is subject to termination. It was discussed at that meeting that that operating agreement has no legal control over what this council is going to do. If this council proceeds to designate a redevelopment area, it will be a condemnation redevelopment area, and they can get rid of that operating agreement as soon as they adopt the plan and provide to do the same. So there is something in the redevelopment law that would allow a property to be included even if it didn't meet the criteria, if your planner or the study determined that it was necessary. Separate from an operating agreement, there's a statutory criteria that the planner would have to opine, you must have this property, it's necessary in order to effectively redevelop the area. I specifically asked that question of the planner, and the planner said, I did not make that finding. This did not meet the statutory criteria to be necessarily included in a redevelopment area. Again, the only basis was the existence of this joint operating agreement, which is not going to bind the properties forward. The town's certainly not going to be bound to follow anything that was provided for in that joint operating agreement. It can make it go away. So with that, I would like to comment. I've had some experience with East Brunswick redevelopment. I think you're doing some great things. I think we think that this project is a laudable project, and we wouldn't want to stand in the way of the overall goals of the redevelopment area for the Brunswick Mall. However, we just don't think it's rational or legally supportable to have included the Habit Burger in this site, particularly subjecting my client and the owner to condemnation to lose ownership of the property that this town just approved them to build 2 years ago. So with that, we respectfully request that the council vote to not include Block 131, Lot 21.03 in this redevelopment area. At a bare minimum, do not apply the condemnation criteria to this property. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President?
Laura Hoover, 9 Avon Court, ex-employee, I know some of you, so. I understand the resolution that's coming up, and I know there's 3 steps that come after that the owners of the properties have options. They can redevelop themselves and work up a plan. They can turn it over to the township, or they can hire their own developer. This is what is supposed to happen with these redevelopments. My question to you is, obviously, this has been planned for a while, and you've been talking about it. So is Paramount and the other owners planning on redeveloping this, or is the town redeveloping this? Oh, I'm sorry.
Council President.
Redeveloping this project, or is it?
And once again, as you
decided?
heard me say to this gentleman, this is not
Okay.
a question and
Okay.
answer. You're
Well,
you're
I'm
allowed
just
to make a
putting
statement.
questions out there, that's all. You don't have to answer me, that's fine. And I just want to heed a warning to the council. I was here during the Golden Triangle era, and there were some major mistakes made. Major mistakes. I was acting as a tax collector and a finance officer at the time, and I hate to see you make the same mistakes. So when you are voting on this and you do create your committee, please heed those past mistakes. Remember the situation we have with our Board of Education right now, and be careful as to who you hire what you build, and how much money you spend to redevelop this property. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And does anyone else wish to address the council president? Please.
Jeff Winston, Fresh Ponds Road, East Brunswick. Hello, council president. The mayor's report tonight was great. I liked a lot of the language that I heard. It's encouraging. As a 6-decade resident of this town, even knowing the gentleman who spoke about head of the soccer league back when there were 2,400 members, I remember those days clearly. But I heard the mayor speak, and the language he used was really encouraging. I understand there'll be some politicizing about that property. The mall has some great memories for me, and I'm only counting on the evolution of what has already been established in redevelopment of East Brunswick. And I, for one, am one of the people who are actually encouraged by that. And the mayor said something in his presentation. He said, we have to do something because change is necessary, or change is needed, I think were the exact words. A little later, in some commentary, I heard you, Council President, say maybe the high school will put a rugby team in place. I love that idea. But there's a problem. The high school's not adding, it's subtracting programming. Growing up, there was a phrase in my house. My father, who was a career educator, actually, I've said several times here, was among the first crew who taught at East Brunswick High School. He would say, when presented with problems, things that either happen to you because of you or in spite of you. I was like, yeah. And the mayor is great. The mayor saw the problem, and because of his vision, he's affecting change. We have a very big problem right now as you build and redevelop East Brunswick in the way that it is. Anybody who watched the Board of Ed meeting the other night, which ended around 1:30 in the morning, there were some really big takeaways from that. The public outrage being one of them, but more importantly, it was more of the information fed by the BA, the business administrator. And in that discussion, he said, not only are we going to remove programming this year, and lots of it, and not only are we going to remove teachers this year, quite a few, as we did last year, but this is the 3 to 5 year problem. What that means exponentially, that if this happens for the next 2 years, forget about 3 to 5, our school district will collapse. The school district that you made a career out of, Council President. That saddens me, knowing what we built, what you taught in, and what's being destroyed. We have 15 major elected officials in our town, 10 of which are in front of me, 6 of which are in front of me, 9 of which sit in the Board of Education. There was a gentleman who said, what are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about the $8 million. That's on the other side of the block. I get that. But again, when change is needed, you have to say something. You represent every citizen of this town. You can no longer sit silent while 65% of this budget is about to collapse the school system that you made a career out of and that my father taught in and many people went to. A vote of no confidence is now time to direct toward our superintendent, who should be encouraged to take his coat, get his box, move on out of town. A new set of eyes, a new set of ears, and a new direction in this town, where every piece of redevelopment that you're building, the town's done. Nobody ever moved to East Brunswick to be closer to Route 18. And maybe that will change with what you're building, but many people will leave what's being torn down. I am begging this council to get involved. Get your skin in the game, vote no confidence, remove an ineffective leadership team, and save the school that both you and I, sir, know we love. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to address Council President? Mr. Ingrasini.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just want to remind
Is it
people
still,
that the.
Mr. Ingrasini,
Oh,
your address?
Ingrasani, 58 Deerfield Road. Okay. Just want to remind you that I got my anchor form the other day in the news and in the mail. And the only thing that changed, I think, is if you apply for assistance, tax freeze. But otherwise, I don't think you have to do anything according to what the information said. But the forms are out, the applications are out, and I just don't know about the State of New Jersey Act yet. I haven't heard nothing about that. The other thing was, there's a good note, I hear Chick-fil-A is opening up this Thursday, on the 27th. And,
You've been waiting for that for a while.
yeah, we've been waiting for it. 'cause
I know.
it's Go too far, we're going to,
It's okay.
Marlboro, East Old Bridge, rather. And the other thing, just like to know is, my wife's been active with the Board of Education for over 30 years. She works at Irwin after-school program. She can't get a real license because her first name is Rose. Okay, I'll say it, Rose, but I know it's Roseanne. That's what she's been known as, Roseanne. Social Security, Roseanne. You go there, they give you the form and everything else. It tells you her father's name, mother's name, maiden name, date she was born. But yet, with the birth certificate, it says Rose, and they won't give her an ID. She has a regular digital license now, because the cops at the Irwin School checked it out. It's really an ID. It's a perfect ID. Yet they won't issue her the real ID with the star. And I had Stanley's crew working on it, and they can't get an answer. The only answer I got was, I called New York up. I told them I had the birth certificate. I have to apply for a name change in Jersey court, then send that over to the New York Vital Records, and then they'll give me the new name. But I know what my wife as she is. It's just.
It's bureaucracy, Mr. Ingrasini. And the vital records in New York is probably going to be your bottom line solution. If you didn't hear from Representative Sterling Stanley, then.
They don't know what to do either. They've been checking it out for me too.
So we can talk about it till the cows come home.
Right.
You know.
But the fact is that it's frustrating.
It's frustrating. I hear you. Right.
So.
Well, good luck with the New York.
My marriage certificate has Roseanne, everything on it. And you're talking almost 74 years ago when she got this name. So it's not that she changed it. So, and okay, that's all I have to say. If anything could be done, I think it should be.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. And Resolution 25-139, which, I'm sorry.
Motion to adopt.
Oh, I didn't even get the words out of my mouth.
You said
Put you on McGraw over there.
You said 139. I was like,
Right. Township clerk, would you please read first?
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
A resolution of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, delineating certain properties identified as Block 131, lots 7.01, 20.01, 20.03, 20.04, 21.02, 21.03, 21.04, 22.01, 23.01, and 24.01 as a condemnation redevelopment area in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 et sec.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments?
I just,
Councilman Wendell?
I would just like to say, I mean, to respond to the attorney's comments, the redevelopment agency will now take this into consideration, will take into consideration which properties actually need to go after a planner reviews the properties and understands what we potentially want to do with all those properties. That property may not necessarily be included in the overall redevelopment plan, but this is what was suggested from the planning board and the planner who did the study. So I think it's incumbent upon us to take the recommendation of our planning board and their planner at this point and move forward and see what is actually necessary and allow the redevelopment agency to do their job at this point.
Thank you, Councilman Wendell. Mayor Cohen, any further comments, any clarification, anything we missed?
Same thing with that Councilman just said. It's a very good likelihood that properties like that may end up being taken out as they look at the project and recognize that perhaps that's not really the major thrust, is more the properties where the mall is, but right now it's one large segment, and we'll let them take a look, work with whoever may be the developer. The developer may be a property owner that's there right now. It could be all three property owners working in conjunction. It could be somebody coming in completely outside of the three owners who has a better plan that the township and the development agency thinks works best. Can't tell you that right now, but I think they deserve all you're giving them right now is the opportunity to sit and start to work with this and figure out something that works for the township.
The developer could be his client,
Could
the
be.
owner of the Habit Burger. We don't know.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. We'll move on to our consent agenda. Township Clerk, could you please read our consent agenda statement?
Resolution 25-140 through Resolution 25-147. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Does council need anything separated? We have a motion for resolutions 25-140 through 25-147.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. For the good of the cause.
Very quickly.
Yes, take your
Yeah.
time.
Just, there was a great opportunity today with our high school students, Mr. Pawlowski's students, actually presented a project
Beat
for.
me to it.
Well, I'm gonna have you speak about it but they did a urban redevelopment presentation in front of a board, and there were 10, I think, presentations, and just the absolute level of intelligence from these kids and the way they spoke and the way they conducted themselves so professionally was so refreshing and amazing. And we had our very own councilman who was part of the committee. So, Councilman Wendell, would you like to
Thank you.
talk? Yeah.
Having done this for many years with the mayor, this program was actually introduced by Urban Land Institute through one of our township residents, Mr. Michael Lax, to the high school IPPL department. And it's primarily a redevelopment area, fictitious redevelopment area, and the students get what we reference as a redevelopment plan, which is a guideline of what items can be developed in these certain areas. And the students spend, I don't know, is it almost a semester on this? And they build it all with Lego blocks and all of that. And then they put together presentations and they present their plan. They have a marketing assistant, they have a neighborhood liaison, they have a planning person, they have a financial person, they have all these different people on their team, and they present to what we call a mock council. And it was me, the mayor, Mr. Michael Lax, and a couple other volunteers that sit and listen for the day about their presentations, and then act like we're a potential planning board or potential town council, and criticize, ask questions, And of all these presenters, and there were 10 teams of 5. And it was a tremendous, I just enjoy doing this so much because redevelopment is what I do for a living. Redevelopment is what I do, for the agency. Real estate development has been something I do for the past 30 years. And to see these kids get up and speak and have answers to questions, and some of the questions are somewhat fictitious. We asked them if they've talked to the church next door that they're building this stuff, and they, you can see how some stumble, and they're like, oh no, we didn't talk. You could have said yes, it doesn't matter. And, but it's really nice to see 10 teams was the most we've ever had. And the students were all very knowledgeable. It's all juniors and seniors primarily from the high school. And they're planning on putting a team in the Nationals again this year for the urban plan competition from East Brunswick. Last year they had, I think, had 2 teams in, they said. And, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the kids, and, they come up to us at lunchtime. I actually had a young lady, she came up to me and she was talking about how can I get involved with more of this kind of thing on the township level. And I told her, you can be our student liaison at the redevelopment agency if you're interested. And she says, okay, how do I get that going? And I was like, just go on the township website, send me an email. And I got the email within an hour and a half after the bus left. She was, very interested. And she was one of the ones we gave a special award to as well. But, there were so many kids that had such a command of their design and had the responses to questions that was just tremendous. And, there were a few kids that didn't even speak. They spoke right from their mind. They didn't read off of cue cards or and so it's a great time. And I commend the Urban Land Institute, which is a group that's worldwide. What did Bill say? There's 55,000 members in.
It's a massive number.
Yeah, there's 55,000 members in the U.S., but which of course I'm a member. But anyway, it's a great program. The kids really enjoy it. Their teachers are tremendous. And some of the volunteers that we worked with actually go in to the school and work with the kids on certain days about their design and critique their designs as they're working through it. So it's a great time.
Thank you.
I think that the most interesting thing first of all, put a flavor on some of the things that they're asked to understand. What is the absorption rate of the apartments or buildings that they're putting in? What is the rate of return that the investor is going to get? What is the township going to see in property values? What percentage can they build that the end result is a net carbon zero product? These are like high level type of things that we're talking about regularly when we're dealing with redevelopment or planning board applications. These are the things we talk about every day. So it's immediately applicable to the stuff that we're doing. But I think that the most interesting thing that I find when you talk to these kids is that if you ask them what it is that they would like in redeveloping any type of area, and you ask their parents, they are 180 degrees opposite one another. If you ask them about affordable housing, they can't wait to be able to provide affordable housing to individuals so that everybody can have an opportunity. That is not what you hear when you go on Facebook talking about apartments in this township. All you hear about is how horrible it is that we're building more apartments and why we need to do that for people that are less fortunate. You ask them what type of retail they want. Or restaurants. They can't, or you ask their parents. Parents want more non-chain restaurants. They're tired of hearing the chains. Well, they want Chick-fil-A. They can't wait for that to open. They want Chipotle. They like Dave's Hot Chicken. They have everything they wanted is a chain restaurant. Complete opposite what their parents are telling me. So I think that maybe the best thing we could do is just get them in a room together and have them start to talk to one another. Because the process that we're undergoing right here on the highway is to try to make it relevant for the next generation. So while I'm not saying that we don't care what everybody wants, but I'm going to have to turn off the Facebook, because if I get one more complaint or comment about some of the things we're doing, I'm just going to send them to talk to their children, because the reality is that what we're doing is exactly what their kids want. Walkable type of communities where people can interact, walk, work, play together, all within these type of areas. And I think that in the end, in this one small commercial corridor that does not represent the vast majority of the township, we are creating that, and it's exciting.
There was only one group who said a family-owned restaurant,
Yeah.
you know?
With regard to adjournment, please signify with a verbal aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good night.